Are we really supposed to break this shit down?
I think that's what people want.
I'm honestly not that enthused about this whole thing.
Holy shit, they dropped the trailer. Season 7 is gonna be awesome. Only 7 episodes.
I don't understand, Chad. Wouldn't you want more episodes? 7 is less than 10.
No, it means less time. It means non-stop action. No filler.
No filler, eh? No long shots of people just walking and staring off into space. No long shots of Emilia Clarke's face. Acting.
No way, man. Not here in Season 7.
Because that was literally the last trailer.
No way. Our trailer begins with Cersei, walking and staring off into space. But we get this awesome voiceover. She's like enemies to the east and enemies to the west and enemies to the south. And then she's like enemies somewhere else, I forget.
Shouldn't there be enemies stuck in the middle of King's Landing with Cersei? I mean, she burned down the Vatican for Pete's sake.
And then we get Grey Worm, my third favorite eunuch in the series, staring off into space.
By the way, where did everyone get these new outfits? That's some top-notch riveting work.
You've never heard of a shopping spree in Volantis? Where do you think I get all of my armor?
I don't know, undead blacksmith? Anyway, we next get this shot of the map room at Dragonstone.
Does this make any strategic sense to land on Dragonstone? I mean, Dany has teamed up with the Dornish and the Tyrells. Wouldn't it be safer to land in Dorne or the Reach and then march from there?
Right, but then you wouldn't get to reuse the table. Some set designers spent a lot of time on that.
I mean, couldn't they just sell it to a Games Workshop for a load of money? I mean, I'd love to have some Dark Angels battle some Gene Stealers over Harrenhal. Anyway, next we have Euron's ship, the Silence, with its black sails. Maybe. Actually, I can't tell since everything in this show is so poorly lit.
Well, it's certainly not Gilbert Farwind.
Huh. Like the show would ever be that awesome.
Oh my god, and then we get someone sharpening their sword.
We aren't sure who it is, but I'm 90% sure it's someone uselessly sharpening Valyrian steel.
Next, we get Arya on a horse, which is kind of weird considering she can teleport. And I think we all know that smudge on the camera means direwolf vision. Nymeria is back for 20 seconds of budgeted CGI direwolf. Anyway, it looks like Arya is heading home to Winterfell.
And then we have Cersei on her painted map, which is like a parallel to Dany and her painted table. And as you see, Cersei is very symbolically standing in the neck.
I don't understand, Chad. What's so symbolic about her standing in the neck?
You see, the Maggie the Frog prophecy said that the Valonqar would wrap his hands around her throat. So do you get it? Neck, throat.
Go fuck yourself, Chad.
Anyway, next we get this large Lannister army marching, and I still have no idea how they have so many troops or how they have the money to finance them since the Lannisters are broke and the crown is in debt, but whatevs. And then we're in the throne room where Cersei is talking to some mystery man.
Syrio? Could it be Syrio?
Maybe it's a Braavosi banker offering Cersei more money, but that's wishful thinking. Some people think it may be Euron looking for an alliance.
So next we have Jaime, and he seems completely down with the thematic wardrobe shift. Why yes, Cersei, I think we should be wearing a sinister black now. I think it'll win over the small folk. And you should definitely dress like you're competing in an ice skating competition.
And then we get a shot of Tyrion, the most moral man in the entire universe. Just look at those sympathetic doe eyes. You know, when he didn't sleep with that prostitute in Volantis and then was against pit fighting, my entire opinion of him changed. I completely forgave him for murdering his dad and strangling his girlfriend. And let's not forget, he was like Lincoln and wanted to end slavery.
One of the historical examples that we looked to when writing these scenes was, oddly enough, was Abe Lincoln.
I'm sure the feudalism that he wants to enforce is so much better than everyone else's.
And then a dragon arrives. Oh crap, I guess there's no CGI direwolf budget after all.
And then we have Dany on Dragonstone. Now Stannis last held the island, but we don't see any of his followers other than Melisandre. Perhaps they surrendered, perhaps the Unsullied took them quickly, I don't know. On a side note, in the book, Dragonstone is actually one of the places that has a red door, and even if it probably isn't the house with the red door, if Dany were to land there, she would probably find it freaky.
Dude, shut up. No one cares about the book. This scene is all about Dany feeling emotion because she's finally made it to Westeros, and that's been the dream of her brother Viserys for so long. And it's been her dream since like season 6 episode 10. So, you know, it's a long time coming for her. And this is actually the island in which she was born.
Well, I actually don't believe she was born here. You see, there was supposedly a massive storm when she was born, but Dany was born in the summertime, and there aren't...
Dude, no one cares about the books or your damn lemon trees. What I care about is Kit Harington and Dany riding dragons, kicking ass, and saving the world.
It's just that if you compare Jaime and Dany's accounts of the flight to Dragonstone, they completely contradict...
Kit Harington saving the world.
Don't get me started on Sir Willem Derry. He completely doesn't make sense. You can't be a bear of a man while wasting away.
Kit Harington saving the world!
Anyway, here we get the Unsullied running in and conquering some Lannister holding, maybe Casterly Rock. And actually, this guy was already dead before they arrived. That's weird. Maybe he was taking a nap. I'm not sure what's up with the Unsullied's new masks. They look like those paranoid travelers on planes who wear the surgical masks. You know, the ones that actually make you sicker.
Anyway, next we get Sansa and Kit Harington back at Winterfell. Oh, and Brienne is there.
Oh, hey, great job, Brienne. While you were chatting with the Blackfish, Sansa's birthright was stolen from her by her half-brother. I'm sure Catelyn would have been absolutely thrilled about that. Good job on that vow. And it looks like Bronzion Royce is still hanging in Winterfell. It must be really awkward for Robin Arryn that all of his lords declared themselves to some other random king for no reason.
No comment. And then we have Littlefinger somehow being nefarious by pointing out the overwhelmingly obvious point that Sansa should be queen. So sneaky.
And then we have Gates at the Wall. Gates!
And then we have Theon, clearly in some sort of sea battle, probably with Euron's crew. We pretty much know that Euron is going to be kicking a lot of butt and conquering this season. So once again, Theon is going to be going through some suffering.
And next we get Melisandre looking sad. It seems pretty clear that she's on Dragonstone, so perhaps she went to Dragonstone before it was conquered by Dany. I guess that would make sense considering it's a Stannis holding. Now this seems to be Dany's crew coming up the stairs. One of them seems to be Tyrion, but if I'm wrong, it might be Kit Harington's crew, as we know that they also visit Dragonstone this season.
I wonder if they're gonna ask Melisandre about Kinvara. Like, hey, do you know her? And Melisandre can be like, yeah, we were roommates in college. Anyway, then we get some wildlings or some bundled up people running north of the wall. We know that there's going to be a mission north of the wall to capture a white. And then we get Arya again. This shot is likely the direwolf's perspective behind a log. The show has the nerve to give her an emotional sigh, as if Arya isn't completely and irredeemably psychotic at this point.
And then we have the people north of the wall who are almost certainly encircled by whites, and I'm sure a dragon ex machina will save them. That or, you know, a helicopter.
And then next we have sneaky Littlefinger trying his best to rival Wormtongue in his overtness. And then we have... how did this happen?
You got any ideas? Dothraki surfing horses? Yeah, okay. Oh my god, Dothraki surfing horses? It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Freaking genius. Game of Thrones just gets better and better and better.
And then we're back with Theon getting his butt kicked on the high seas by Euron.
And then we get Davos saying it doesn't matter which skeleton will sit on the Iron Throne, which, frankly, sounds pretty metal.
And I think this is Dany rolling a saving throw that gives her half damage against fire spells. In all seriousness, though, we see a lot of ships on one end and a lot of knockdown pieces in the middle of the map. I would guess that Euron is doing well while the Lannisters are not.
And then we have a shot of the mountain looking like a Cylon from Battlestar. And then some sailors running on a gangplank. And then we get Kit Harington manhandling Littlefinger.
Oh my god, behind them is the statue of Lyanna. Maybe he's gonna find out about his lineage and the incredible romance of Rhaegar and Lyanna.
Romance? Rhaegar was like 23 and Lyanna 14. It was gross, dude. Gross.
And then the Unsullied battle the Lannisters, and this Unsullied uselessly jumps up into the air while fighting.
Dude, it's like Derek Jeter when he used to throw to first base. And this is Arya awesomely looking under a bed, probably at Winterfell.
And next we have Jorah Connington putting his arm through a door. I imagine he's in quarantine, probably at the Citadel. I guess we may have Sam, a first-year acolyte, find the cure to cancer.
And then we have more fighting, and then Kit Harington on his Find a White mission up north.
And then we have the beginning of a sex scene that we know isn't going anywhere.
I don't know about that, man. They can do some stuff.
Grey Worm ain't got no dick, bro. But speaking of that, we have Yara making out with Ilaria.
You got any ideas? Lesbians? Yeah, okay. And then we have Tyrion knock over a piece. We have some people jump in the water, probably Theon. And we have more and more fighting. Awesome!
So, Sweet Robin, what do you think?
Well, I mean, we've pretty much been spoiled on the whole season. The Targaryens are looking to have some victories over Cersei, but some losses against Euron. Jorah's gonna survive after all, and Kit Harington is gonna go north of the Wall to catch a white. It looks like Dany and Kit Harington are eventually gonna team up. Then Cersei and Euron are eventually gonna team up. Good guys versus bad guys for now.
No Sam at the Citadel, no Hound, no Gendry, no White Walkers.
Well, there's always next trailer. Well, that's all for now. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.